G'day and welcome to the weekly Warrior Check-In. So tonight with Craig Dyke. So thanks for joining us, Dyke.
Thanks, Andrew, for having me.
We're around his kitchen table. So the first one I've done around the kitchen table, but it feels like a good place to do the Warrior Check-In. So just a reminder to you guys, the reason we do this is to hopefully give you a bit more of an understanding that it's okay to talk about the ups and downs of life, because that's really what we're all about and it's happening for all of us. And I noticed this week on the ABC, they're doing a whole week of talking about, how we share our feelings, thoughts, all that. So it feels like it might be topical. So for those of you, Craig's in the network. For those of you who don't know him, Craig came from corporate background, managing, what were the businesses you managed?
Predominantly mining, oil and gas,
right.
Business units within Wesfarmers, Sandvik, that sort of larger corporations, working around 13 different countries around the world.
And an engineering background.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And now has, just in the last 3 years, started up, and I admire, we were just having a bit of a chat. He set himself a goal of starting a business, selling a product that he knew nothing about. And he's succeeding in doing that. So selling composite wood, distributing composite wood around Australia, which has its ups and downs and challenges.
China challenges.
Alrighty, so we'll kick off. So Craig, I think you're aware of the format. So the first question, easy in nature but hard. How are you feeling? And it can't be good or fine because that's the weather. So how are you feeling?
I'm feeling excited and also anxious.
There you
go. I'm excited, obviously for my business, but I'm kind of excited for the planet and where it's currently at. There's obviously been some significant changes with COVID. There's been a lot of realizations about what's how we work. We're just talking about that, and also a lot of awareness around the planet at the same time of a lot of discrimination, colour and background, etc. But my anxiousness is the same thing.
Sure.
We're creatures of habit, and we're just going to go back to the establishment, the system just winding up again.
Yeah.
And then we're going back to where we were, which I think if you ask 9 out of 10 people that say don't really want to go back to where we were, we'd like to be in a different place.
Yeah. And I think, you described that well. So we can actually feel good and excited and anxious about the same thing because it's our thinking.
Yeah.
Aren't we awesome?
Interesting.
So the next question, what's something that you feel like is giving you energy, that's going really well at the moment for you? What's something you're happy about?
It's a good question. There's a couple of things. I've set myself another goal to sail around the world, so that's giving me some energy and a distraction outside of my normal business, because that obviously takes up a lot of time, so that gives me energy. What also excites me again is this next 12 months of the business. We've just gone through our 3rd birthday, and the next 12 months we've had a lot of stuff go horribly wrong in the last 18 months. New systems. I haven't got one person who started with me in the business.
Right.
We've had to move the business 4 times.
Right.
We've had to redo our manufacturing 4 or 5 times. So there's been a lot happening in that 3 years. But I'm excited for the next bit because we've got a good team now. The manufacturing is settling down a bit, and I can see that we could very well excel our growth expectations for the next 12 months, provided there's still an economy left to do that in.
Sure.
But I think there's a lot of some really good programs going around by the government at the moment to boost some construction and infrastructure and a bit more taste for manufacturing in Australia, whereas prior COVID that was not there, which showed our vulnerability.
And so what impact, so, you know, when you talk about having that energy and feeling good, what impact does that have on your daily life? When you feel good, what impact does it have?
Yeah, what I immediately see is obviously with energy, with feeling good about yourself, your energy levels are up. So therefore, suddenly where you might do 5 things in a day when you're a bit slack, suddenly you can do 10. You go, well, that was easy.
Right. Yeah.
And I could probably do another 5. So suddenly you're back to training again.
Yeah.
You're not coming home and grabbing a bottle of red and going, oh, what a day. So, and I don't do that. I don't drink during the week now. That's been my rule, although I'm on holidays, so I'm allowed to at the moment. But that's what I find is you can get through so much. You I don't know, you just think clearer.
Yeah.
You can make decisions on the fly a lot better, and you can juggle and manage things so much. You know, with a lot of things coming into the business, and from staff, suppliers, staff, customers, and the gamut of things that happen.
Yeah. So it has a clear impact.
100%.
Yeah.
And then you sort of wake up, you kind of like a sinusoidal time wave, you're sort of up and then you're down, and then when you're down, you go, God, all I got to do is just shift this 1 or 2 things and you're away again.
Yeah.
And it's just so small.
Yeah. And it's often, doing that 1 or 2 little things that have just been going around in your head and getting them off the plate. Yeah. Okay, so now let's flip it. What is something that's giving you a challenge at the moment, or that you're struggling with? Might be, any part of our life. Because I guess it's always true that there are things that we're excited about, and there's other things that are troubling or challenging us. So what for you is challenging you at the moment?
Well, putting my jeans on for a bit because I had 2 weeks on holidays and I put a bit of weight on, but I'll enjoy taking it off. I think, I've had somebody come into my business and do a report on my business while in my absence, and from that report, it was quite scathing,
right?
And it was I think it was very poorly written. And also I do coaching and mentoring as well as in business and personal. So I kind of know how these things work. So my expectation was I'll get a really clear, a positive view of the business, but it was quite detrimental to me, my staff, and the business, and all the things that's happened to it. So I had a lot of energy around that. And then that it hurt.
Sure.
And normally people say, well, if it hurts, it means it's probably got some truth in it. But I think this a bit of hurt because the amount of, how would you say, it was wrong. It was just completely wrong. And I was just a bit hurt that someone would want to even say that. So I hung on to that for a few days, and then I let a couple of, what I call respected business people read the report, and they said, mate, take the 2 or 3 things out of it and then put it in the bin, because it's really 7 pages of a lot of words and a lot of negativity is not what you need in a 3rd year, just finishing a 3rd year business. You need a lot of positivity and support to make that thing happen.
So look, I think that's really valuable because, it's the story that we surround ourselves with that can have a big impact, and other people's stories about us, other people's thoughts about us, can have a big impact. And, that sounds like for you, it did have a big impact and affected several of your days. So that's the truth of it. So I think it's really important that we have that filter and manage that whole story of what others think.
Yeah, and I think but the other thing it's also done in retrospect is I'm very hard on myself.
Right.
And as we were talking about before, that report, the way that person spoke to me, I thought, how dare you? And yet I do it to myself every day because I'm such a, even my partner Shannon goes, you're so hard on yourself, like just enjoy the ride.
Sure.
And I'm just on it all the time. So I think there was actually a subliminal message in that report at the same time.
Great, and that's an awesome piece of awareness, isn't it? Because if we actually listened to what we're saying, what we're saying to ourselves, we may not accept it. And if it's written down like that, you certainly struggle to accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then swing back to where we had the previous conversation. So your energy levels go up, you don't go training.
And that has the opposite effect.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So, it's amazing, just our own thinking, as always, it has a massive impact. And lastly, what is it, do you have something that you do that brings you back? So, if you've had a hard day or, you notice you're struggling a little bit, is there one thing or a set of things that you do that brings you back to that centered place? Could be, I know, for some people it's going bush, meditating, surfing, going for a walk, going to the gym.
There's a couple of things. I love to talk to my boys because one's in Melbourne and one's in Sydney, so reconnecting with them, and we talk a lot on the phone. I think the crux of me and who I am is staying fit and healthy. So if I go back to having a plate of veggies and training again, then that sort of just kicks it off. And we're talking about those one or two simple things. That's the thing that really kicks me going and gives me confidence as well.
Awesome. So it's just coming back to those old habits.
Yeah, the old habits that are
Healthy.
Positive and healthy.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Awesome.
Good.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Craig, for taking the time to check in with us. And thank you guys for tuning in again. And I'll see you next week. Take it easy, guys.
Thanks, mate.
See ya.
Bye.